Hey guys, I just got the Ekko back to Tennessee, back home last night, and I have driven the van now right at 1,000 miles, and I kind of wanted to go over some things that I have learned about driving this with the new 6.3 Van Compass suspension that I just put on at Freedom Vango. I love the suspension. Everything about this has really worked out great. Did want to show you kind of what is stock on a 2025 Ekko. This is the shock that is on a Mercedes. As you can tell, it's pretty not real substantial. I can push that down with very little force and it goes back up. But I don't know, just wanted to show you kind of what you'll be getting when you first buy it. But I was when I first bought the rig, I drove it. Of course, it drove fine. It's just that, you know, when you went over curbs, bumps, the whole thing would kind of shake a little bit. The rear leaf springs are flat, just like this, so there is no really support with the weight of the stock blocks and everything on there. Just kind of wanted to give you just kind of I don't know, just my take on my first 1,000 miles of experience with the rig. Now I've already put about 3,000 miles on it stock, no suspension, no nothing. You know, it drove okay, but I had to wait my turn to get into Freedom Vango to have some work done on it, and this was by far the most important for me because I wanted something that was going to be pleasant to drive, not have to deal with you know, all the topsy-turvy kind of bounciness going around and everything. I'm not saying it cut all that out, but it cut down 80% of it. There's still a little bit whenever you, depends on what setting you have it on, but there's still a little bit, just because it's over, I think it's 12 foot tall, something like that. It's pretty tall. But anyway, so this is just basically a video to show you what I think about the first 1,000 miles of the Van Compass and maybe some other mods I've done to it. So let me kind of take you around a little bit. All right, so here's the shock that you'd be getting with a 6.3 like I've got. I've got a 2-inch lift with this. This is the rally strut. Works really good. My only complaint, this one you can turn so you can see the numbers really well. This one not so much, and that goes for the other side too. It's not really meant to be turned or anything so I had to stick my head down there with my phone to kind of see the numbers. That is really my only complaint with this whole system so far. The numbers are just a little bit hard to see. What I'm probably going to do is get a Sharpie and write what the numbers are right here so I can kind of quickly, if I'm not doing it, somebody else is doing it, like a friend of mine that's riding with me, they can quickly just move that to the proper number. And fun fact, I did learn a valuable lesson driving from Tampa, Florida at the RV show, and came on home, drove all the way to Columbia, South Carolina. It's a pretty good haul, and I forgot to take, I thought the setting was in 2, but honestly it was in number 1 the whole time. 1 is the softest setting you've got, 2 is for everyday driving, and 3 is for high winds, if you're towing, you know, going cross country, that kind of thing. And when I got to Columbia, South Carolina, winds picked up. I was on Interstate 26, and the winds picked up pretty good. It was blowing me around. I thought, man, this is not great. It was just I was able to keep it on the road and everything, but I was having to basically put 2 hands on the steering wheel to, you know, kind of keep it lined up good. When trucks would pass me, it would cause me a little bit of anguish to keep it straight. So I decided to pull over. So I pulled over, double checked my settings, and they were on number 1, which was not the right condition for that. So I turned it on number 3, made sure all of them were on number 3, and let me tell you what, it made a huge difference. That van, it tracked perfectly straight. I mean, the wind, I knew they were there, but I looked at my weather and it was about 20-mile-per-hour wind gust at the time, sometimes 27. So, you know, with it being this big of a rig, the wind does push it around a little bit sometimes, but with the suspension, it really does help quite a bit in terms of keeping it on the road so you're not white knuckling it. Basically, after I put it on number 3, I was able to drive with one hand, no problem at all. So I was pretty happy about that decision. Once I found that out, I was a lot more relieved about this whole decision on spending this much money on the 6.3 with the lift and all the other stuff I got going on here. So let me just kind of take you around here and show you what else I had done to the rig. So again, here's your rally strut, there's your shocks right there, all adjustable and everything. This is a BFG Goodrich KO3 tire. It's a new tire for them, I think came out last year. And this are the Rika wheels. I got the quick deflate valve, apex valves there, really like those. I've got those on my Revel and they work really good. I'm kind of interested to see how this new tread design is going to do in not so much mud, maybe some mud, but mostly snow and ice. I've got good reports on YouTube about these tires. I got the Defender flares by Terra Wagon put on. I just washed my van and I went through the field here and it was a little muddy from the snow we had recently, so sorry about all the mud. But had that done. Also did a little something special. I took this emblem off and painted it kind of a chartreuse color. I think it turned out pretty good. I don't know if I'll keep it that color, but I wanted to do something different than everybody else, so I took it off, spray painted it 4 or 5 times. I think it turned out pretty good. I've never seen one that color before. All in all, my rig is looking real good. Man, when they pulled it out of the shop, my mouth just dropped. I could not believe this was mine. I mean, I was real particular. I about drove those guys crazy, trying to make sure that I had the right tire, the right wheel, the right lift, just to make sure it had proper scale. I didn't want to have a big rig like this with little bitty tires. You probably could go a little bit bigger and get away with it without rubbing too much, but I didn't want to have to cut a lot of fender or stuff like that. But I really do like the way this sits a lot. Take a look how good that looks inside there. That is Van Compass 6.3 with a 2-inch lift. And got the 45-gallon S&B fuel tank there, all the way down through there. I love that. Now here's your dials for the rear shocks right there. They're pretty easy. You're going to get on the ground to get them turned if you need to turn them, but it's just part of the deal. But they're right there. There's 2 of them, one over there, one right here. But this is a very clean looking rig back here. Let me show you something else. So also, I got a expanded rear spare tire carrier. This tire matches my existing front and rear tire, so if I get a flat, I can simply lower that tire down and change out the tires, no problem. So I like that idea a lot. I do have some additional information for you. I did some, because I was kind of curious on the gas mileage, all kind of stuff like that. So here's the deal. I was getting 15.5 miles per gallon stock with the dualies, with the stock rims, stock tires, nothing done to it. And I was pretty happy about 15.5. Now this has a 4-cylinder diesel, which I love. Electronic power steering, also, I love that. So I was getting 15.5 before I picked it up from Freedom Vango. So I put 1,000 miles on it since I picked it up. I filled it up yesterday and drove several hundred miles with it. Stopped and filled it up again. On the computer, on the dashboard, two things. It was telling me I was getting 10 miles per gallon. And I was pretty, not good with that number. It was lower than I thought it was going to be. But after I stopped and filled it up and did the math, I'm now getting, in reality, I'm getting 13 miles per gallon. So I don't think that's really too bad for going with a lift like that, with the bigger tires, to only lose 2.5 miles per gallon. I am really happy with that, really. For this, to get this look and this ground clearance, it's, I think it's, for me, no, this is not for everybody, but for me, it's great. Another thing is, the speedometer is wrong, big time. And I knew this going into it. So, basically, if I am doing 70 miles per hour on the speedometer, I am really doing 77. I know that two ways. I know it from Google Maps. When you have a route plotted and you're going down the road, it tells you your speed limit and also tells you what your actual speed is. And it's always been 6 to 7 miles per hour based on your higher highway speed type miles. So I'm gonna get that fixed. I'm gonna get that calibrated and to where it's perfectly on, because I don't really want to have to remember being that much off on my speedometer and everything. But I'm trying to think what else I got going on here. Oh, one more thing. I really like this. This was one of my biggest things I like, because, well, let me show you this. So it came with one battery. I added a second. So this is a 320 amp battery. I got another 320 amp battery. So now I have got more power than I could ever shake a stick at. I'll tell you why. Now I've got two batteries, and well, I've got it locked. There's a generator behind here. Between the two batteries, the generator, and the solar up top, I can't believe that I'd ever run out of power. I mean, I'd have to be boondocked for a long time to run out of power on this. And I'm one of these guys that I love my air conditioner a lot. But that was just really important to me, because I've had several times since I've just got the Ekko about 3 months ago where I have run out of power and had to crank up either the engine or the generator and just crank it back up and get power back going. But I'm telling you right now, this rig is looking good. I'm probably going to replace the awning. It does not work. It works, it comes out okay, but when I go to pull it back in, it stopped about 2 feet short. I have to manually crank it back in, so I just don't have time for that. I'm just going to get a Fiamma 45S and be done with it. I did the same thing to my Revel. I don't know why Winnebago is continually making these rigs with Carefree. I have had so many of my friends have these, and they say the same thing. Their awning does not work at all. It's just kind of disheartening while you're on the trip and your awning doesn't work. It's kind of a bummer. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say to you is this. My first 1,000 miles of the Van Compass 6.3 has been a success. My rig is looking good. I've still got to do a bumper and have it mats, Van Made Gear window blinds, and a few other things. but it's looking pretty good. But yeah, just make sure that if you do get this suspension, that you use the correct settings for the correct environment. I'm probably gonna leave it on 3 for a while because I do so much highway miles, cross country and everything. I'm just gonna rock it in 3. That way I don't worry about wind or trucks or anything like that. It's all good. But what do you think about that? So there is a couple other things I want to talk about real quick. When I picked up my rig, I was really happy with the way the guys had treated my rims here. Generally, this is kind of rusty area right here, the hub. When your wheel comes off, I've seen some other ones that have kind of rust around here. The guys, they sprayed, I think, some gray spray paint on it before they put the wheel on there, just to help clean things up. And I like the contrast between the gray and the black. I really do like that. Also, I forgot to tell you that this rim, the Rika wheels, they also come in bronze color. The bronze color looks really good. After seeing one in person, I started having second thoughts about the black color, but I am glad I got the black. I do like it, but the bronze would equally, I think, look as good on these rigs. So I've got the 6.3 suspension that includes a 2-inch lift. I did want to point out you could opt for a 4.3 suspension from Van Compass. That has everything, as far as I know, it has everything this does except for the 2-inch lift. So if you're not looking for a lifted rig, you can save a bunch of money and a bunch of time and just have it 2 inches lower, and you know, have all the suspension and all the goodies and everything. The rig is a lot taller with this than stock, which I don't mind it, but so a lot of people don't really want the height too much different. So the 4.3 might be a better option if you want a very stable ride, but no real lifting. I think you could probably, I don't know, Chris up there at Freedom Vango could tell you more, but I think you can still get away with 295 tires even without the lift. But he would be the person to talk to about that. I will say these tires do rub a small amount, and it's only on certain cases. If I back up maybe on a little bit of a hill, it's just certain angles that it rubs just a little bit, the fender inside. It's not even a big deal. It's not even worth for me to try to scan some of this off to get it to where it won't rub. It's just not that big a deal to me. If it rubbed a lot, it would bother me a lot more, but it really does not. You can kind of see right there a little bit how close that is. That's almost getting right there, but this is just real flimsy plastic right here anyway, right there. But I was trying to think of anything else I needed to talk to you about. I think I've covered about everything. I just wanted to go in detail. You know, those guys at Freedom Vango, they really did pimp this thing out really nice. I mean, look, I mean, that's perfect in there. They painted that gray. That was one of the first things I saw when I got there on the rig, was how good the rims looked. Because I have seen so many that have the rust inside there, and I was just happy they took the time to spray. Just take 5 minutes to spray those gray just to make things look really nice. But anyway, y'all guys have a good day. Talk to you soon.